When I was in the 4th grade, I got my very first eyeglass prescription. It wasn't very high, only negative 1.5, but I do remember my parents telling me to start eating carrots so that I wouldn't have to wear them anymore. So, can carrots really improve your eyesight? To find out, let's first have a history lesson. During World War II, the British Royal Air Force came up with a new technology called radar, which allowed them to detect German enemy planes and destroy them, even at nighttime. In order to keep their new radar technology a secret from the Germans, the British began to spread a rumor saying that their phenomenal new success in nighttime warfare was just simply caused by eating more carrots. And that, my friends, is called propaganda. A propaganda campaign so successful that probably even your mother thinks it's true. Probably even you think it's true. And you know what? You wouldn't be completely wrong if you did think that. Carrots do positively affect eyesight to an extent. To find out more, let us start with our very first science lesson of the video about eye structure and function. Having just learned about photosynthesis in class, I noticed, in researching how vision works, that there are many similarities between the two systems. Dr. Barbara Adams of the University of Colorado refers to these similarities as parallels. Let's simplify her findings into a good old Venn diagram. Photosystems in plants, as well as the retina, where light is absorbed by the eye, use photons from within the visible light spectrum of the electromagnetic spectrum. Photosystems use the energy from absorbed photons to create glucose, where the retina, on the other hand, absorbs photons so as to transmit visual information to the brain, so you can see. Both systems involve the use of pigments. Making this comparison is useful not only to us so that we can learn about vision based off of what we already know, but also so that scientists can make connections between the two concepts to try and hypothesize new ideas for future research. Now, let us learn about the retina. In vision, the final step of a photon's journey is its absorption by what is called the retina of the eye. The retina is a thin layer of tissue that lines the back of the eye on the inside. There are two main photoreceptor proteins within the retina, called the cones and rods. Cones are useful for sensing bright light and color. Rods, on the other hand, use the rhodopsin pigment to absorb light, and they are important for sensing dim light or night vision. For the purposes of this video, we will be zooming in on rods, since they have the main link with carrots, which we will examine later on. Let us take a closer look at the rhodopsin pigment. Rhodopsin is made of opsin, a colorless protein, which is joined with 11-cis-retinol, a pigmented molecule derived from vitamin A. When rods are exposed to light, the rhodopsin molecule splits into its two parts, retinol and opsin. In this state, the rhodopsin molecule cannot absorb photons, and so it is said to have been bleached. The rhodopsin molecule is regenerated in the dark, which is why it takes time for your eyes to adjust to a dim environment. This is also why rods are useful for dim vision. The regeneration of rhodopsin is made difficult without a supply of vitamin A. This is why a vitamin A deficiency may cause night blindness. The Waltz cycle, pictured over here, describes the regeneration of rhodopsin. It might be helpful to recall the Calvin cycle, where RUBP is regenerated, or even the Krebs cycle, where oxaloacetate is regenerated. It's the same idea here. So, asks Boots, what do carrots have to do with any of that? Well, it's all about the beta-carotene, a precursor to vitamin A. That brings us to our science lesson number 2, which is about beta-carotene metabolism. In class, we only covered 2 kinds of metabolic processes, those involved in cellular respiration as well as those in photosynthesis. Yet, it is important to note that there are many, many more metabolic pathways going on within organisms. The metabolic pathway most relevant to our lesson today is that of vitamin A and carotenoids, specifically beta-carotene. And just like that, we return to the subject, which is the very renowned carrot. Yes, everyone, carrots are an excellent source of beta-carotene, but so are sweet potatoes, and kale, and squash, and apricots, even romaine lettuce, and bell peppers. Moral of the story? Carrots are not special. The pedestal carrots have been placed on are simply a result of propaganda. If we're talking about vitamin A deficiency, sweet potatoes are honestly more useful than carrots. The transformation of beta-carotene into vitamin A is more than a little complicated. As mentioned before, it is a separate metabolic pathway from those covered in class. Let's summarize it this way. Beta-carotene is converted by oxidative cleavage to vitamin A in the liver, where it is also stored for future use. Beta-carotene will improve poor night vision, but it won't improve hyperopia or myopia because those have to do with the shape of your eyes rather than the metabolism of beta-carotene. So, sorry Dora, eating carrots will not rid you of your glasses. Here, Diego arrives and brings up a very important point. Where's the evidence for the capabilities of beta-carotene? And he would be right. Scientific processes, such as those presented in this video, beg for real-life evidence. A 2005 study shown by the Scientific American showed that in settings where undernourished people suffer from extreme vitamin A deficiencies, such as in Nepal or India, supplements of the vitamin, or beta-carotene, have been shown to improve night vision. Severe vitamin A deficiency is actually the leading cause of childhood blindness, a fact which is incredibly unfortunate just because of how preventable it is. The World Health Organization says that an estimated 250 to 500,000 vitamin A deficient children become blind every year, with half of them dying within a year of losing their sight. Beta-carotene-rich foods like carrots would be incredibly valuable to these children. On the other end of the spectrum, we have ophthalmologist Dr. Hedge, who confirms that there is no relation between the consumption of carrots and refractive error, also known as hyperopia or myopia. He speaks of a patient whose mother forced him to eat vast amounts of carrots each day in an effort to cure his myopia. Unfortunately, such a rampant consumption of beta-carotene does nothing but literally turn your skin orange in a condition called keratonemia. Remember, beta-carotene is a pigment. Here's a summary of all that we learned in this video. Carrots do help eyesight, but only to an extent.